Hey, we're back with my friend Shane today. And today Shane's going to help us learn how to actually load this turf equipment onto the lift. I mean, I got several concerns about this. I want to get the turf rail adjusted properly. I want to make sure that I don't tip the whole lift over and it just falls over. And so help me out.
Okay, so as for tipping the whole lift over, you don't need to worry about that. It's got a center of gravity in the center of the lift, but the way the turf rail is designed, it has stops where you can't move the turf rail troughs past center.
Okay.
So, but the main thing that we're going to do is we're going to find what your wheelbase is. So we're going to go from your rear axle to your front axle, and we're going to measure that distance, and then we're going to go over to the turf rail, and we're going to measure that distance on the turf rail and set the troughs at that same distance so you can drive right on.
Okay.
It's that easy.
Since this is articulated, we'll have to measure both sides and average it probably, right?
It should be, if it's straight, it's going to be pretty close, but yes.
It's probably not quite straight.
Yeah.
And we've got the mower on the front. I'll have to ask a little about that. Do we just not worry about it? We hang it out on its own?
Just let it hang out on its own. It's going to be really cool when you see when we lift it up and it's hanging out there and you're able to walk under and work on that thing. It's going to be awesome.
I'm looking forward to it. Okay, let's go.
So 43.5 inches. So 46.5 inches. So let's say about 45. Yeah, so we'll do 45.
So this thing with the duals is about, I think, at least 6 foot wide, maybe a little bit wider. What is this maximum width?
89.75 inches.
89.75. Okay, so that's wider than the interior of a trailer if it's a fender trailer. So it shouldn't be any issue with any outdoor power equipment, should it?
No, not at all. So let's go ahead and get it measured up. So we're going to go ahead and let's set this one at 1. So Tim, would you slide that over with Tim and Tim? Would you slide that to 1?
Is this loose? Oh, gee, that's not hard.
And then from 1, we're going to go ahead and measure. So 45 inches is going to be, it's going to be inside our marker. So let's just go ahead and slide this one down, and then we'll mark it at 45. So up there, yeah, about right there. So almost to the stops. Tim, go ahead and hit the button and raise it up just a little bit so it engages well. A little bit more. Okay, and then go ahead and tighten down your T-handles.
So we raise it enough that these two meet.
That's correct. So we raise it enough that those two meet. The reason that we allow that little bit of play is that most shop floors have a slope to them. So when you set it down on the ground, one's going to hit before the other trough hits. So we want to have that little bit of play so the lift can go all the way down, both troughs engage to the floor.
Okay, and then we slide it where we want. And then before we tighten these up, we raise it so it's
so it engages. Yep. And then we let it back down, and then we drive the machine on. Okay, you're good.
Now this is not trivial because this is articulation.
So Tim, when you're driving that on as straight as you can get it as you're approaching it, the better.
As I'm approaching it even, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's what you mean by straight, right?
Yeah. That easy?
Easy. I'd like to say it was hard and complex and it took some miracle skill that I have, but no, it was easy. Okay, we ready to go up?
Yeah, just raise it on up.
Now, is there anything I need to watch for as I'm raising? In other words, there's no risk we're a little bit off center, for instance?
Well, the risk that I would watch for is your ceiling height.
Oh, okay.
Most of the equipment that you're going to raise, it could have a overhead ROPS or it could have a cab. So watching the overhead on the lift, or if that cab or the ROPS is outside of the overhead, making sure it doesn't hit your building.
Okay, so the biggest risk is tearing up my new ceiling.
And then coming down, make sure that everything's out from underneath your the area before it comes down. I just heard a story this week of a gentleman that let a car down and he left his stand underneath that he supported the transmission with. And then when he let it down, it landed on that, and he was talking to someone that flipped the car right off the lift.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
So as soon as I hear that, is it high enough that I can, or do I have to go a little higher? Because I heard it click, click.
Yeah, so once you hear it click, click, you can go ahead and let it down. There, it's set right on its locks.
Okay.
And then you can, let's go up here and look underneath the deck. Have you ever been under the deck of your Ventrac before?
Well, yeah, I have, but not so handily.
Those blades need sharpened, Tim.
He's judging my blades. This is nice. Easy access. Now, the Ventrac does have an easy access to fold up the deck, but,
Okay.
but most mowers don't.
Yeah, they don't.
Hey, look, my belt's off. That I also knew because I just put this mower on for this demonstration. Now, I'm not up nearly as high as we could. So I could get it so we could walk right under here.
Yeah.
But
What's cool about this machine, you can actually lift it higher than you can really do work. So you've got to usually let it back down to a good working height.
But what I'm noticing is you can get that working height and work between the rails.
Yes.
The rails are not so expansive that, I mean, I can reach it from here or I can reach from behind. And so I don't have to have it so high. I mean, I was a little
The rails
worried about
actually
that.
have big holes in them where you can get your hand up through.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
So you can hold something.
Yeah.
Very nice. You think we can lift Johnny 5?
Is that your big tractor? Yeah, I'm sure we could.
Okay.
Shane was a landscaper for many years before he started Indiana Automotive Equipment. I found that his knowledge and experience with outdoor power equipment is incredible. He's drooling over one of these Ventracs for his own yard, so I let him take it for a spin.
Okay, so the first step is measure again, right?
Yep, measure again. So I've got about 81.
Okay, 81.
Because of your cab, let's go ahead and go to 5 back here.
Okay, because we're wanting to be far enough back
Yes.
to allow the cab to clear the...
Yeah, and I don't know if that'll make it, but we'll get it back. Let's try getting it back that far and see how we're doing. Here you go.
What do you mean you don't know if that'll make it?
I mean, you've got the cab, the mirror, the exhaust.
Oh, okay.
There's quite a bit there. Okay, let's go to 5. Okay, we'll raise it up and then we'll engage it first. And then, so hold right there, Tim, and let's find 81. So really, we just need to move it to about 1.5, and we'll be set. Check that. That's perfect. So I'm going to raise it up just a little bit. We'll engage those rails.
Okay.
Tighten down our set screws. We're ready.
I had just removed my moldboard plow from the rear of the tractor and added the weights so that I could carry the vehicle lift into the shed. The plow requires the lift arms to be offset like that, left side lower than the right. I didn't take the time to level them.
Tim, that's a lot of tractor.
Shane, that's more tractor than we really should be lifting. Let's say it's 7,000 pounds dry.
Yeah, we can lift it.
Let's don't talk about the loader or the weights on the back.
I think that's good enough for me.
I think that's good enough for me.
6 inches.
There we go.
That's good enough for me. We're on the locks.
It'll help me rerun my camera cable here, Christy. So Shane, this is probably about the limit that we ought to be lifting, at least practically.
This is a lot of tractor. Yeah. So the turf rail's been tested and they loaded it at 10,500 pounds right here in the center to reach its ETL certification. But I think we are right on the limit for what it's certified for.
Yeah. Did we do anything special? What any keys that I need to remember?
Just watch that cab. You know, when we're coming up with something that has a cab or open ROPS with a roll bar, you want to make sure that it clears the overhead of the lift and doesn't hit the ceiling on your building.
I'm quite surprised about one thing, and maybe you can provide some feedback. we actually set the rail quite off-centered to the rear,
We did.
and the tractor I thought was probably already heavy in the rear.
Yeah.
And so you're really, I think, convincing me that we don't need to worry about balancing the load front to back too much.
Not on your lighter items. I still feel confident because we have all the engine weight and a loader out here, but you do have that counterweight, but we're still not really, if you look at the center of the lift compared to the machine, we're still pretty close.
Okay, so you think we need to put some thought into centering the equipment on the load, but
You do. With most of the stuff for OPE, it's going to be lighter. It's not that critical, but yeah, still look at the center of the lift compared to the load, yes.
okay. Well, this is the biggest tractor I got.
We did it.
Let's try one more thing. Let's take all this turf rail off and see if we can lift that F350.
Let's do it.
Or start talking while he's lowering that. Now, Tim, you've been working with Indiana Automotive Equipment how long?
I've been there almost 3 years.
You've been a TTWT fan longer than that.
I have. I think probably about since the beginning. 4 or 5 years, I think. I watched it on my cell phone, and me and my 4-year-old, we love watching. We run the tractors, so we watch it and go to the next one. We don't have time to comment. We've got no video to watch.
Tim flagged us down at GIE 2018, and we kind of got started talking at that point. We were getting ready to move. You guys have seen the shed that we had at in our Carmel house. It wasn't big enough for a lift. It just all worked out. And we've wondered, Tim, we've wondered why we had this scissored ceiling in this end of the shed.
Yeah.
1998, somebody built this shed and they said, listen, in 2019, there's going to be a YouTube influencer here, Tractor Time with Tim, and he's going to need space for a lift. Somebody said that, but I don't think it was anybody here on Earth.
No. He's always watching out for us. You never know. Never know where he's going to take you.
Yeah, that's right. God has really provided for us. Some of your story we don't have to go into here. He's provided for you as well.
Yeah, he has.
That's great. Well, thanks. Thanks for watching. Continue to watch it. Leave a comment once in a while. Come on.
We'll do something.
So if we're going to get the F350 on, we have to get this turf rail out of here, right? So
That's right.
it doesn't look very hard.
1 minute, maybe.
1 minute?
1 minute.
Woo!
I think we can do it in 45 seconds.
I think maybe you guys could do it in 45 seconds. It'd take me a little longer.
You want to time us?
On your mark, get set, go. So the rail is already off the top. They had loosened that before the clock started, so I don't know if that's really fair or not. Second rail here. They told me they could be stacked by inverting them. Oh, I'm adding time, see? They didn't plan on that. We're at 30 seconds, guys. You know, I think if they'd have kicked it up a notch, I think if they ran a little bit there instead of, they'd have made it.
Yeah, but we're just talking, so.
Well, somebody's got to be the color commentator here.
We're ready.
55 seconds.
I said a minute. Tim said 45.
Well, it would have been, except for the old man, yeah.
The old man. Bring that truck in here.
This is the vehicle lifting points guide. It comes with your Challenger lift. On this, you can look up your specific vehicle. And so here we know we have an F350. And it'll actually tell us our points to where to place the lift.
I guess I thought it was all guessing. This makes it much easier to actually see. And it even gives you some instructions here. Front lifting points are on the radius arms. If equipped, remove fuel tank shield to gain access to frame rail. If equipped with retractable running boards, disable the system through the instrument cluster control prior to lifting. This is very helpful stuff, isn't it? Thankfully, I don't have the retractable running boards, and I don't know if I have the the fuel tank shield. So I guess we have to check that out, right?
We'll check that out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take, so we've got the turf rail adapters still on from the height adapter.
Now we have a place to store those, right?
We do. They store right here on the side of the lift. They got this handy dandy bracket.
Okay.
Just put all your adapters right here
Very nice.
when they're not used. What we're going to do is we're going to take this arm, we're going to position it under the truck to that. Right
So
there
it said radial lift arm.
Right there is the radial lift arm right there. So,
Okay.
so I'm going to put a height adapter on here.
And so you have this little adapter here to make sure that the rest of the arm doesn't hit my running board?
I do, and this pad's adjustable, so it has an adjustment here.
Okay,
where it can screw up and down.
minor adjustments, yeah.
And I'm going to go to a little bit taller adapter. This one's ready.
Okay, that's easy enough.
Okay, so I'm going to extend this arm out, up the cap. Okay, we're ready.
Now we were looking for a fuel tank shield that I doubt I have, but
Doesn't look like it. Looks like we're going to be able to lift up with those pads.
okay, so you're going to the spring shackle right there.
Shackle, yeah.
Sorry?
We lift it to where it starts to engage, and then we just look again and make sure that the lifting arms are engaging in the spots that we wanted them to. And then we raise it off the ground about a foot, and then we just go to the back of the vehicle and just shake it really good to make sure it feels like it's firm on the pads.
Okay, so we're trying to make sure that it's firm on the pads, make sure it's somewhat balanced, and then how do we know we got the right number of height adapters?
What I did is I looked at the difference from the front to rear. So I added, if you saw, I added 3 adapters on the back and 1 on the front, because I want a pretty similar distance to where when it engages.
It engages at the same time,
Or
front and back.
pretty close, yeah, at
Okay.
the same time. So I'm going to lift it up just a little bit.
Okay.
Check it once it starts to engage. So I've got good engagement on the rear. Got good engagement on the front. Guys get so comfortable with lifting every day, mechanics do, that they skip this step. Give the truck a good shake and make sure that it feels like it's engaged good on the lift. Then we'll go ahead and lift it up.
And that's those nylon pieces. We just want to make sure that it's not going to slide on those.
That's right.
Is that the sound of it being kind of at its max, or?
Vibration. This little bracket is what it is. That bracket.
This is nylon washer, typically about 8.
Now we have been under this truck before at the scales.
Yeah.
Trooper Hoover had a pit we got under it. We didn't lift it. The first thing we noticed was this rusty drive shaft. We thought that was unique,
Yeah.
especially since the back one is not rusty. Before you know it, I'm going to have to start changing my own oil, Christy.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, $160 or something last time to get the oil changed.
Yeah.
You can see the filter and everything's right there.
It's accessible. Filters right here.
Get you an underhoist drain, roll it right under here, just bring the...
You know, I know a guy.
up. You know a guy that sells them?
Yeah. So tell me about it a little bit.
Okay, so we sell different size underhoist drains. They're on caster wheels. You can roll it right underneath the vehicle. We sell 2 that are, one's 18 gallon and one is 27. And you can roll it right underneath and then just bring that drain, big trough, right up to your engine and then drain the oil right out. You can also bring it up to your transmission and drain your transmission for transmission service. And then you can just, well, really, the catch is big enough you can just drain your filter right into it at the same time.
Do you make something like that that fits on a 55-gallon drum? Or-
Well, we've got a smaller drain. I think it's around a 7 gallon. and it drains into a smaller trough, and then you could pour it into a 55-gallon drum. But with our drains, you can actually plug your air from your air compressor up to the drain, and then you just flip a lever, and it transfers that waste product, the oil, right over into your 55-gallon drum.
We've got a viewer that uses the waste oil that we generate.
They burn it?
Yeah, they burn
Waste
it,
oil?
and so he's actually provided me a 55-gallon drum. It's out back.
Yeah.
You know, I just need a way to get the oil to it. So,
Yeah, so just use your air, your shop air, and just push it right into the drum.
so tell me some pricing on some of those. What's it going to cost?
So those run anywhere from, let's say, I think $580 down to about $350.
Okay.
For the different, and they're quality. Those are quality units that are used inside the automotive facilities, car dealerships every day.
What's this lift run for? We got a couple of options here, right? This one is big enough, obviously, to lift the F350. We're under it right now.
So this lift is about $6,900.
With the turf rail that we've shown in this episode as well.
Yeah, under 10.
Under 10,000. TTWT discount.
That's right.
Where do we get them?
Indiana Automotive, IAEquip.com.
IAEquip.com. There's a phone number there. Call them and they'll set you right up. This is very useful to me. Not only being able to lift it, but the instruction that you provided here on how to lift. This is good. Any other instruction that you have to share?
I guess instruction is safety. You know, don't ever get so comfortable with the lift that you don't take those extra steps to be safe. You know, we've seen accidents happen. We're a certified ALI inspecting company, so we end up going on to accident scenes a lot where vehicles do fall off lifts, and we've seen injury and death both. So just be safe. You know, take those steps. You know, that's probably the best advice I could give.
I just backed it in until you told me to stop. Where do I go?
So if you look in that lifting points guide, those pads are going to show you where to lift it. If you go to the center between those pads, that's your center of gravity. On
Okay.
Most passenger vehicles, the center of gravity on a front-wheel drive vehicle is about underneath your feet when you're in the driver's seat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on a rear-wheel drive, about underneath your seat. On trucks, it's going to be centered, you know, the engine's the heavy side, so a little bit more toward the front, so about your steering wheel. That's
Okay.
your center of gravity.
Okay, so we look like we're a little further forward than that.
We're a little
here.
bit further forward, but we also, you backed in, so we had to keep away from that door. We're pretty close to the door. If you
Okay.
pulled in, we would be able to get you more in the center of gravity.
You know, one thing I've seen from both of from all of the equipment we've lifted today is it doesn't look quite as particular on forward to back as what I thought it was going to be.
Your lighter vehicles, it's still good to pay attention to that center of gravity, and it's also good to look inside the bed of the vehicle because that'll throw off your center of gravity. When you start removing components, that changes the center of gravity. So if you're going to lift this up and remove the rear end, that's going to make it really heavy in the front. That could change your center of gravity and cause it to flip off the lift.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now we talked about this one being with the whole combination turf rail, a little less than $10,000. But remind our viewers what you said in the previous episode about an entry-level system.
We have an entry-level system, and it's called an LE10 two-post lift. It's a 10,000-pound capacity, but it's an import model by Challenger Lift, and you can purchase that 10,000-pound two-post and a turf rail and be really close to $6,000.
If a guy does very much maintenance at all, that
It's really not. People go to the casino and spend more than that.
we don't.
No, I work hard for my money.
I've really appreciated this.
Hey, thank you.
You're going to see this lift. We may not talk about it every episode, but you're going to see it in a lot of our maintenance videos going forward. Just remember, the guys at IAEquip.com, and if you have a need for a lift, it's a good place to go and check them out. They can either drop ship it to you and you can install it, or in fact, in that situation, you can call Shane and he'll help you talk you through any installation issues that you might have. Or if you're within a couple hundred miles of Indianapolis, they'll come out and install it for you. Thanks, Shane.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we'll see you next time on Tractor Time with Tim. Look at the ears. Hey, Martha.